Bafa is asking here, what are the causes of Kundalini syndrome? Is it only trauma? Are psychological issues the only main cause of it? So this term Kundalini syndrome, I don't particularly like it. Um, I have a talk where I kind of break this down. The word syndrome was used in the medical field or whatever to describe patterns of symptoms that don't have an explanation. That's why we call it a syndrome, because they don't really know what's going on. So, but with Kundalini, we know what's going on. It's not a syndrome, right? We know what this is. So right away, it's a misnomer, right? Um, People have challenging Kundalini awakenings that are maybe unsupported, that maybe happen um, without proper preparation. Perhaps they are engaging in behaviors that or a lifestyle that doesn't support their process well. So it makes it very challenging. And so some may say, I'm going through Kundalini syndrome, right? Um, but if the process is supported, it is an evolutionary process. It's an evolutionary process. So if it's supported, we can drop this word syndrome and cooperate with it and go through the experience, which is at times quite challenging, but that doesn't mean anything is going wrong. Doesn't mean anything is going wrong. And so the analogy that I like sometimes is when a caterpillar goes into a cocoon to become a butterfly, in the cocoon, it completely disintegrates, melts down into a goop, and then that goop is, reformulated into the butterfly. So we don't say that it's in a cocoon syndrome. We don't worry about the caterpillar. We don't say something is going wrong. We have to change this or fix this. We know what this is. This is part of its evolutionary process. So we are okay with it. So in the same way, when our Kundalini process is challenging, we don't have to feel victimized or as if we're suffering from a syndrome or something has gone wrong. We just have to find ways to support it. And the ways I share are very safe, very gentle, um, through self-care, taking care of the body, eating well, resting well, engaging in gentle meditation, prayer, relating with a higher power in whatever way feels right for you, some gentle movement, studying, if anything interests you in the spiritual, domain, being in community, connecting with others. These are all very effective ways, very safe, and they can help us to navigate some of the challenges that others may call Kundalini syndrome. Kundalini syndrome, it, Kundalini awakening process is the greatest thing you can go through for a human being. So this idea of seeing it as a syndrome, as if something has gone wrong and you're a victim and this is like some sort of catastrophe, I don't really like it. Though I understand it can feel like that sometimes. I get it. So Papa shares here that some people think that their Kundalini issue is only related to psychological issues. Yeah, so there is no such thing as an issue that is solely psychological. Um, Psychology is catching up to this, right? We are understanding that this has to do with the full body, right? So if there's any issue within a person's system, it's a holistic issue, right? It has to do with the body, the nervous system, a person's trauma, their diet, their lifestyle, their relationships, all of these different things, their genetics as well, all these different things. So there's no such thing as solely a psychological issue. Um, if psychological challenges come up during the process, we can, of course, engage in things like inquiry, meditation, shadow work, journaling, processing some of those thoughts, those experiences, but also recognizing that it's a full body process. It's a full body process. We have to support the entire system, support the entire system.